No opening speech. So y'all can get started.
Terry, when you have so many young guys playing at key spots, do you have a message to them about the atmosphere they're going to face at Nebraska? 85,000 fans. Do you worry about how they handle that type of atmosphere?
Oh, I think you always do, but I've played there and fortunate to win. I think the last time, or I'm not sure, but I think it's one of those things. Northern Illinois has gone in. We have a very, very young team, certainly on the offensive side of the ball, not a lot of experience. So, I think the least said about it, the better, and not talk about it. The only thing I've talked about to our offensive side of the ball, I haven't talked about winning and losing. I've talked about, getting better. Because it's more about us than it is who we play. I mean, we've got to get better, and if you get better, the wins come. But I talked to him more about, hey, we got to have today's most important day, and let's practice and get better. And last week we practiced better, and we were sharper, more focused, and so forth. So I do that more than anything, and everybody's going to talk about it anyway. So they'll get plenty earful. But usually when you play in that type of environment, I think that Gus Edwards, those type of people, you get hyped up too. And, I don't think there'll be any question our kids won't play hard. If they don't, we got issues, But I think the big crowd, the big atmosphere, it may help us at times. I don't know. We'll have to see.
How valuable is that first road trip for a young quarterback? Everything that goes into traveling, getting on the field, figuring things out pregame, and just learning how it works.
Yeah, I think it's an experience not only our quarterbacks. I think it's an experience for the whole team because it's a different routine, and anytime you're in a different routine. And Coach keeps it as close as the same routine, the way I understand it. I've never been on the road with Coach, so I mean it'd be a new experience for me how things are done. The way I look at it, the bottom line is don't get caught up in how it's done and all that. Just prepare, and when you're asked to do your job, you do your job, and and that's what I'll share with our kids. And no matter where you play, you just got to go do your job and do your preparation throughout the week.
In regards to Jonathan, how important is a game like that for his confidence level moving forward?
Well, I think it's just like I told him, we opened up with Washington, so you don't get a chance to do some things you want to do. And, I'm not going to say what school or whose schools, but other schools, open up with some people that they should beat. And where they get to play some people. And when we were rebuilding, we were able to do that most places I've been to gain some confidence and see who can do what. And so we were able to see a lot of kids play and kind of see what some people can do. And, I said I'd take Jonathan along slowly. And, to this point, I think we've done the right things with him. And Kyle's playing very well. I mean, I don't think people understand his passing percentage and the things he's done. And they both played, I don't know, they graded out, in that 89 to 90%. And for a quarterback, you're going to win most games. But, was I surprised by what he did? No, I think that he was well prepared and he focuses and concentrates. I think the older kids have helped him. From to Geo to all our guys, really helped John. And we have an unselfish crew at quarterbacks, and we have some guys that have been here through different systems, and they do a great job on the boundary with keeping everybody composed. They see well, and hey coach, we missed the dig on the route, and this is what they're doing. So I basically got about 4 coaches on the boundary that all communicate together and help each other, and they've thrown their egos to the side, and so that helps Jonathan a lot. So so it was good to good to see. And I think we used him in the right way and the situation we need to use him at this point in time. And we'll continue to grow him and continue to get him better. Our job's getting better this week and get Kyle better also.
Jerry, I think you've run 57.8% of the time. Are you okay with the balance offensively through 3 games?
Well, I think that balance can always be better. I think it's one of those things where you run the ball and you're doing pretty good at it, and they're giving you the run, you take it, and if they're not, then you throw it. I mean, I think it's that simple. But I think every offensive coach wants to be as balanced as he can. That's not a terrible balance by all means. Some people are the direct opposite and throw it 60% of the time, and so I mean, we have tried to do what we can do, and again, what I was hired to do is to keep us in games and slow the game down and those type of things, and I think we've done a good job of that, and giving us an opportunity to win. And do we need to continue to work on our balance and those things? I certainly. But again, you take what the defense gives you and you attack what you feel like you can do. And balance. If you could go perfect bounce, I mean, that's the best way to do it.
Jerry, on the play where Josh Hicks fumbled, Kyle actually got out and threw a block. It's actually a good block, but when you see something like that, do you appreciate, I guess, the unselfishness and the competitiveness, or do you also want him to just be a little careful just in case?
Yeah, he did throw a heck of a block, and I don't think a lot of people realize that, how he hustled downfield and threw a cut block and knocked the guy on his tail end. And you say, Coach, what you say? I told him, I said, that's a nice block. I said, just be careful. You don't want to ever keep a kid from playing hard, but he does have to be smart. But it was a key block. It wasn't something that it was a cheap shot, and it was just unfortunate. I felt bad for Josh. He had a tough camp, injured ankle. A lot of things have happened, and you wanted to see something positive happen, and the ball got knocked out, and so, other than that, there was some good blocks on that play, and Kyle was one of them.
Coach, going into an environment like Nebraska, how important is it to have a starting quarterback like Bowen, who's had experience in big games and big-time environments like that?
I think it's very important. I think it's very important. He's gone in and played in front of, big crowds and those type of things, and I think that'll help our team. I really do. And him and Gus and guys that, Doo-Wop, those guys have been in front of big crowds and big situations. So I think the transfer kids that have come in and are playing for us right now, I think that's a definite plus for us.
Jerry, I was hoping I could lean on you as a football historian here. When we talk a lot about Michigan and Ohio State, but what does the name of Nebraska represent to you when you think about the sport and
being representing is I was from Kansas, and we got our tail ends kicked for about 200 years, and when they were in the Big 8 and so forth, and then I never got chance to play them in the Big 12, but I was when we were in Minnesota and we beat them twice, I know one thing, we celebrated, and we beat them there, and that's tough to do, but Nebraska fans are great fans. They really are. I mean, we came off after we beat them, and they're calling me by my first name and saying, hey, you guys did a great job coaching. Congratulations. They love football there. I mean, when you show up for warm-ups, there'll be 60,000 sitting there. And so they love football. They appreciate football. And, that's Nebraska. So when I think of Nebraska, I think of the way football should be. I mean, it's there in that little, when you go through that little small town, and you pull in, all you see is that stadium. So it's a unique place and got a unique history, and think of Tom Osborne. I mean.
Final question? Yeah. No, you got it. Just kind of building off the two questions about Kyle Bolin, how important, maybe the average football fan doesn't realize this, how important is what he's doing at the line of scrimmage before pre-snap, getting everybody, communicated and in the right play? How important is what he's doing there, and how good a job is he doing at that kind of stuff that's not in the box score?
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's tough because we're playing with such young people. We're playing with some young receivers, making sure they're on and off, and making sure that we're getting the right communication from the boundary, and he's having to do a lot of things in that nature. So not only is he trying to play well as a quarterback, just true quarterback, and he's reading safeties and doing different things. And we played a couple of unique defenses. Is that he's got a lot on his plate, and that's what Jonathan's learning as we go. And like I said, I think that we got a good group. We really do, and I take my hat off to Gio a lot because he could be very mad, upset, and all that, and he wants to play too. And he's pretty good. I can tell you, he's a pretty good player, and done well and did well in camp. But he's hung in there, and him and Zach Allen, have been great. Assistant coaches, so to speak.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you. You guys have a good day.